Oh, good morning, you lovely lot. So, continuing on the RX5, episode 9 now, actually. I'm not actually going to have much help this week, so it's going to be a bit of a difficult one. But I've got to jack up the engine, jack up the car, put it on axle stands, drop the subframe. I've got some 10mm spacers that need to go in, which I'll actually show you. So, what I've got, some 10mm spacers there, only roughly made, drilled, slotted. Nothing special. Someone sells a kit for 10mm spacers, then it's like 50-60 odd quid. So if I can just slap them in, just slide them straight in, tighten up, 10mm alley, perfect place. There are little spaces at the back which I'll sort out at a later date, but they're not important at the moment. Just need to get these in. Obviously got the edge-lock knuckles, big brake kit, stuff like that, which I'll have to sort out at a later date, but that's no rush at the moment. Sadly, there's some. Shit. Didn't quite get what I wanted done with the sump. Like getting that done, but that doesn't matter. I'll get that done in a week. But anyway, onto the housing. So obviously ages ago I started doing the exhaust port. I chipped the chrome, but this time I've actually managed to complete it. So there we go. There's yeah. And obviously the intake port done as well. It's only dremeled at the moment. I am going to finer polish it in. And again, this is like a 60 micron or 0.06 interference fit. Shrunk that in with liquid nitrogen and dropped it in there. So yeah, if people are going to complain about it leaking coolant, it definitely ain't going to leak coolant. And I'm going to dremel this back a bit more and then TIG weld and then polish that in anyway. The intake side, that's a 0.1 interference fit, but I might put Devcon in here, I'm not sure yet, so we shall see and find out. But I've got an idea for testing. Now, I ordered a 5 metres worth, I probably should have wrapped this back up, 5 metres worth of Viton O-ring cord. Now, I've seen on a few forums, people have used the Viton O-ring cords. They've made them own, they've glued the ends together and they've had some success. Some people have had it leaks. Considering I did find one person with a 20B that runs Viton cords glued together. He ran it 3 times 800 brake, built up, ran it for a good while, then he had to put it apart for some reason or something or other. It wasn't the seals leaking, it was something else, can't remember. And the seals were fine. He ended up reusing them 3 times, and then he's had kind of delays in the project. And a few other people used it. So for the fact of I'm going to be building this engine up, getting it idling, running, MOT and stuff, and then I'm going to be, after a few runs, I'm going to be pulling it back park anyway, save myself 130, 150 quid. I'm going to run the Viton seals, make my own Viton seals, O-rings, run them, pull it apart, see if they've leaked, see how they've held up and everything. It's only NA power anyway, so there's no big amount of stress, all that sort of crap. Then I will, almost lost balance, I will then inspect it all and everything, see how it's come out, and then I'll either reuse them for the next lot or buy some proper seals. I'm not sure yet, but it's going to be interesting to see these Viton seals because I don't know, we shall see. But anyway, so I've got to get this engine back together. I've got to jack the car up, get this engine bolt together. And also the exhaust port has been ported in as well. So get this engine together, get it in the car, I'll get the spacers done, get the spacers in, and then hopefully get the engine mounts welded in place, remove the engine, finish off the engine mounts, then maybe pop the engine back in there, see how it holds up, and start on doing the exhaust manifold, maybe. Not sure yet, but we'll see how far we get. So I've dropped the subframe. Absolute ball ache this was to do, because there's 2 bolts down there, 2 bolts the other side as well. The closer bolts not been put in yet. I have got it, but I'm going to make some spaces up at work. The further ones I managed to make some spaces up with some washers and stuff for the further back one on both sides, and then the plates are in here and here. It's an absolute ball ache. You've got to undo the anti-roll bar, what I did, and the top mount to drop it, and then those 2 bolts to slide these plates in either side. But they are now in and fully tightened. So I'm going to assemble the engine up, get it in here while the car's still on axle stands and the gearbox jacked up, get it bolted to it, and see what clearance I've got, because this should have gained me 10mm clearance on the sump itself. So I'm thinking, instead of doing a long plate that way, I might actually go that way, so I can have the bolt hole line up with either of these two still, and same on the other side, and then just make a bit of a gusset at the back side of the engine somewhere. But we shall see. I'm gonna get the engine assembled, and then I will get back to you in a sec. Oh, okay, so gearbox is already in, but I bolted up the engine to the gearbox, so that's fully located now. It's jacked up, the subframe's obviously been dropped, so now the gearbox has been jacked up somewhat for clearance, which we now have quite a bit of clearance down either side. But I'm going to lift it up, move it across a little bit more over to this side, try and get the spacing between the angle mount there and the side of the engine even, about the same side. I might have it a little bit more over that way, because it gives me more clearance for the exhaust manifold, and how I'm going to have to deal with that. But gaining the extra 10mm on the plates either side has helped massively. So I think I might actually leave it in the positions it's in actually, and then work something out with these engine mounts. So I'm going to try and come up with something, and then I will show you that in a sec. Finished off welding up. Finished off welding up. I've just done the engine mounts. The right side, again, you're gonna have to excuse me on the welding of these mounts. Yeah, let's get that one in there first. Nothing great, but yeah, I've got my black dowering in there, which is 35mm, so same size as the BMW bushings. But yeah, that side's tacked for now. I'm gonna need to put some gussets in that side, but then also this one's tacked up with the gussets and the exhaust flange, which is going to be a bit difficult. But when it comes to putting this engine in, I'll have to put the engine in, bolt to the gearbox, bolt the exhaust manifold on next, while the car's jacked up in the air, and then like wiggle the engine mount on. If not, I have to make some clearances, but otherwise it is actually under its own weight completely. Jack's there, it's now under its own weight, and it's cleared. If I turn it upside down, I don't know, might not be able to see, but yeah. So it's cleared from the subframe. The steering column needs either lowering or moving forward or adjusting, so I'm not sure. I might put some spaces in there or try and lower it somehow, or knock the edge of the sump. But yeah, so I need to pull the engine out now, get the mounts out. I can gusset them at work at some point, and then start doing on the intake manifold for the engine. Oh, another step done. But yeah, it's starting to rain now, so I want to kind of get this all out quickly. So yeah, I'll see you in a sec. But anyway, just before I forget, make sure you subscribe, comment if you want to, like, whatever else. Fucking, it all helps build. Do it. I'm well chuffed, and I'm bleeding. Back's killing me, but I'm almost there. So you started pissing down low, got the engine out, the car's now back on the floor, the engine mounts are partly done where they were, so I'm going to have to put another gusset there. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to notch this. So when I get to work, I'm going to cut a Allen key just short enough to get in there to loosen that off, and then I'll notch the back side so it's got clearance to go through with a bolt or whatever into there. I'm going to have to try and notch this somehow a bit more as well for the exhaust manifold, and clearance it for the exhaust manifold. Again, not sure how I'm going to do that, but we shall see. Other side, just need some gussets. I'm going to heat that up and flatten it a bit more. But again, just need some gussets. This side's done, so I'll cut that excess or mount off, give it nice radiuses and stuff, and give it some gussets. But otherwise, that's the engine mount. It's pretty much done. So I'm going to concentrate as well on getting the other exhaust port done for this one. I need to skim this face, put your 2 tapped holes in here, but it does mean I can get this all bolted together now, get the intake manifold or intake flange done, so I can start making up tubing for the ITBs. Bit of a short one, but yes, engine mounts, I'm going to say pretty much done. I'm knackered, fucking hell. It's a bit of a shorter episode this week, but yeah, hopefully I'm going to start getting back to doing clips and videos of machining and stuff like that, because obviously I've been concentrating a lot on actually doing the shit for the swap itself. So yeah, hopefully that, especially with the I've started out sorting out sensors for the balancing machine, which means I can get the rotors lightened. I've got stationary gear bearings ordered. I've obviously got the Viton seals, so I'm going to start making them up at work, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that as well, which I need to remember to take that. I still need to modify the sump. Yeah, getting there.
Several days later.
I thought I'd add a little bit to the end of this video, just add a few bits. So I've finished up some of the one of the engine mounts. This one I might add a little bit more to. Again, excuse the horrendous MIG welding, or TIG welding, sorry, because my MIG had a few issues on the MIG, sorted itself out. That's why this side was horrendous. Yeah, and inside there was horrendous. But then I managed to sort it out. I got some relative beads. A lot of people will probably watch these like, oh, that's horrendous for a MIG. Well, yeah, you're an expert, so I don't do it on a daily basis. But I've made up another gusset gun on this side. That's obviously TIG. Again, my TIG's not great. It's not amazing. It's not great, but it is what it is. So I put a gusset in that side. I've notched this side so I can get my Allen bolt, because what I'll be using, not specifically this one, but an Allen bolt through there into the bottom of the thingy, and I can use a Allen socket thingy to get to it. I was hoping to get that 17, but I think I'm going to be taking too much of this out. Clearance wise, I've sorted it as well, so I don't have to try and get that in and out. I just drop it straight in, and the top one does that. Yeah, that's that side. So all I've got left to do on this one is actually put a nut on this side, which I might leave that one be. I'm not sure yet. I probably will weld a nut onto this side. If not, we'll just leave it raw. But pretty much that's that engine mount done. Obviously it's not amazing, but it will do the job. The other side, got a gusset in that side now. Again, those ones aren't too bad for TIG, and again, some of you experts will be like, they're shit, but it'll do for what it'll do. Down there's obviously horrendous, but I welded a nut on that side. Again, TIG, absolutely horrendous. I'm no expert in TIGging, so yeah, is what it is. But yes, that is, the engine mount's pretty much done. So I'll probably get one more gusset in that side, maybe. I might get a little gusset in there. I might weld a nut onto that side as well, make my life a little bit easier when putting the bolts in for the engine mounts. So yeah, next episode will probably be checking these engine mounts out. Actually no, next episode will be sorting out the intake manifold flange, intake manifold flange, intake manifold, and probably some other bits on the engine. So we shall see next time, but yeah,